He could have led with miracles. Millions witnessed them. He could have led with prophecy. The world leaders feared it. But every single time, in crusades, in counseling rooms, in controversies, in criticism, Prophet TB Joshua chose to lead with one thing: let love lead. 3 words: let love lead.
Tell your neighbor, let love lead. Once again, let love lead.
Simple enough for a child to repeat, deep enough to take a lifetime to understand. Today, we are going to go beneath the surface of these 3 words. And when you understand where they came from and what they really meant, you will never hear them the same way again. To understand why Prophet Joshua said, let love lead, you first have to understand what he lived through. He grew up in Arigidi, Akoko, a boy marked as different before he could even explain why. His pregnancy lasted 15 months. His childhood was shattered by poverty. He was rejected by classmates, misunderstood by family, and dismissed by the very religious institution he longed to belong to. He experienced betrayal, not once, not twice, but repeatedly. By people he trusted, by people he elevated, by people who sat at his table, ate his food, and then went out to destroy his name. He faced accusations that would have broken lesser men, investigations, controversies, attacks from both the religious world and secular press. And through every single one of those fires, he never retaliated with bitterness. He never weaponized his platform for revenge. He never called down fire on his enemies. Instead, he would stand before his congregation, look into the camera, and say softly but firmly, let love
lead. Once again, let love lead.
This was not a man who had never been hurt. This was a man who had been hurt deeply and chose to love anyway. This is what made those 3 words so devastating in the most beautiful sense. Most people heard let love lead and thought it was about being kind, being nice, smiling more. But Prophet TB Joshua was not a shallow man. Every phrase he repeated has layers, and this one has 3. Layer 1, love as a leadership principle. Prophet TB Joshua believed that the greatest leaders in history, from Moses to Mandela, were not driven by ambition, ego, or strategy. They were driven by love for the people. He said this repeatedly.
Love looks around to see who is in need. Tell your neighbor, love looks around to see who is in need.
When love is your motivation, you cannot be corrupted, because love doesn't seek its own. He was making a radical claim in a world of power, hungry leaders, spiritual and political. He was saying, real authority flows from love, not from dominance. He didn't just preach this, he demonstrated it. Spending hours after service, praying personally for strangers, funding the education for children he will never meet.
My name is Oduwale Olayinka. I work in the youth department of the Synagogue Church of All Nations. I'm one of the beneficiaries of the scholarship schemes here at the Synagogue Church of All Nations. I graduated from the University of Lagos with a first-class degree in electronics engineering.
My name is Kola Josunde. I'm a 300 level mechanical engineering student of Ahmadu Bello University, Zaria. For the past 9 years, I've been a beneficiary of the Synagogue Church of All Nations scholarship scheme. Before the man of God came into my head, that was my secondary school. I was almost giving up on my academics because my parents couldn't afford the fee. That was when the prophet came and said there's still hope because Christ is the only hope. So before then, I was just an average student, but since the prophet had been sponsoring me, it had really been a challenge to me. And presently, I'm a second-class upper student. And he said, better is not good enough, the best is yet to come. As I said earlier on, I'm hoping for the best to come out with the first class, to put in my best in everything I do. And this is a challenge to everybody out there who is giving up hope, that Christ is the only hope. Because if Christ can do it for me, I believe he can answer everybody also.
Opening squan's doors for the poorest of the poor without cameras ruling. Love was not his message. Love was his method. Layer 2. Love as a weapon against darkness. Here is where it gets spiritually profound. Prophetic Joshua operated in a world of intense spiritual warfare. He encountered things in his ministry that most people will never face. Demonic manifestations, spiritual attacks, coordinated oppositions, and yet his answer was never louder warfare, stronger rebuke, or more powerful weapons. His answer was love. He quoted 1 Corinthians 13 more than most other scriptures.
There are only 3 things on this earth that will last: faith, hope, and love. And the greatest is love. The greatest is love. This is what the Bible says.
Not the warfare chapter, the love chapter. He believed and taught that love is the highest frequency in the spirit. That darkness cannot survive in an atmosphere saturated with genuine love. That the enemy's greatest fear is not a powerful preacher, it is a loving one. Because power can be counterfeited. Miracles can be imitated. But authentic love, that is impossible to fake and impossible for darkness to replicate. Let love lead was not just pastoral advice, it was a battle strategy. Layer 3. Love as a personal anchor. Those closest to prophetic Joshua says that in his most difficult private moments, when the weight of ministry, misunderstanding, and attacks press hardest, he will return to this phrase like a man returning to lifeline. Let love lead. Not to say it to others, but to say it to himself. Let love lead. Let love. It was his way of checking his own heart, of asking himself, am I doing this from love or from ego? Am I responding from love or from wound? Am I building from love or from fear? 3 words that functions as a daily internal audit of his soul in a world that rewarded performance. He was more committed to purity. There is a moment that captures these principles like nothing else. When the guest house tragedy struck Squam in 2014, one of the darkest chapters of his ministry,
House of the Synagogue Church of All Nations in Lagos in Nigeria that claimed lives of 116 people, including 85 South Africans.
The world watched to see how prophetic Joshua would respond. Critics recycled, accusations flowed. Cameras zoomed in on his grief. He came out and spoke. No lawyers, no deflections, no PR script. He wept, he prayed, he took personal responsibilities for the families. And in the middle of his pains, surrounded by questions he couldn't fully answer, he said words to that effect. We choose love even in this. It was the most costly version of that phrase he ever lived out. Not let love lead when it is easy. Not let love lead when you are winning. But let love lead when everything is collapsing and love is the only thing left standing. Prophetic Joshua is gone now. Departed June 5th, 2021. But I want to tell you something personal today. Something I don't always talk about openly, but something I carry with me every single day. He changed me. Yes, he changed me. Not just spiritually, not just emotionally. He changed the way I see people. He changed the way I treat people. He changed what I do with whatever I have in my hands. I remember watching him, not just in the miracles, not just in the prophecies, but in the quiet moments that Emmanuel TV will sometimes catch. The way he was stopped for the person everyone else walked past. The way he will reach into his own pocket, not from church phone, not for the cameras, but personally, privately, for a stranger in need. The way he looked at broken people, not with pity, but with dignity. Like he was saying, I see you, you matter. Love is here. And something in me broke open watching that, because I realized I had been so focused on doing big things for God that I had been missing the small things that are God. Because I realized I had been so focused on doing big things for God that I had been missing the small things that are God. A meal shared, a burden carried, a hand extended, a life touched. That was Prophetic Joshua's real ministry, and that became my new school. I learned that charity is not a program, it is a posture. Prophetic Joshua didn't do charity as an event. He didn't give to be seen, applauded, or celebrated. He gave because he genuinely believed that everything he had belonged to God, and God's resources are always meant to flow to people in need, never to sit still. He once said something that stopped me cold. Don't give to get. Give because you have already received. I sat with that for days because I realized if I truly understood what God has already done for me, I will never again walk past someone in need with a closed hand and an open eye. I learned that love without action is just a feeling. Prophet TB Joshua didn't just preach love, he packaged it in food, in medicines, in school fees, in flights, home for strangers, in hours spent with people who had nothing to offer him in return.
Ìgbàgbọ́ la béèrè lọ́wọ́ rẹ Olúwa, dílẹ̀kùn gbàgbọ́ fún wa. Ilẹ̀kùn ẹ̀mí mímọ́, ẹ̀mí ìjẹrere, ẹ̀mí òtítọ́ àti òdodo. A ò fẹ́ ẹ̀mí ìtànjẹ o. Ẹ̀mí tó wà lọ́dọ̀ Olúwa làwa ń béèrè. Olúwa sọ̀kalẹ̀ fún wa. Sọ̀kalẹ̀ fún wa.
He taught me that the truest test of love is not what you say in your best moment. It is what you do when it costs you something. When it costs you your time. When it costs you your money. When it costs you your comfort. When nobody is filming. That is where love proves itself. And that is the standard set for me. I learned that the poor are not a project. They are a priority. One of the most powerful things about Prophet Joshua's ministry was who he really was. Not the powerful, not the connected, not the ones who could give something back. He ran towards the forgotten, the sick with no money for treatment, the widow with no one to call, the young person with a dream and no door to walk through. He showed me that proximity. He showed me that proximity to the poor is proximity to God. And that changed everything about how I move. So today, I am not just here to tell you about a great man who lived and died. I am here to tell you that what he started is not finished. The legacy of love and charity that Prophet Joshua carried, it didn't get buried with him on June 5th, 2021. It was handed forward to those of us who watched, to those of us who learned, to those of us who were ruined for ordinary living by the example of one man who chose love every single day. To those of us who were ruined for ordinary living by the example of one man who chose to love every single day. I, Senior Evangelist Terence, I am one of those people, and I have made a decision not to be a spectator of his legacy, but to be a carrier of it. Every time I reach into my pocket for someone who cannot repay me, That is Stevie Joshua's legacy living through me. Every time I stop for the person everyone else ignores, that is Stevie Joshua's legacy living through me. Every time I choose to give when it's inconvenient, love when it's costly, serve when it's thankless, that is the legacy. Not a building, not a title, not a ministry, a life that puts their love in action. Maybe you're watching this today and you're also carrying something in his life. Maybe you sat under his teaching for years. Maybe you stumbled on Emmanuel TV at 3 a.m. when your life was falling apart. Maybe you never met him, but something about his story reached you across distance and time. Then you are also a carrier. The legacy of love and charity doesn't belong to one ministry. It doesn't belong to one nation. It belongs to every person willing to lift it out in their homes, in their communities, in their cities, in their generation. So here is my charge to you today. Don't just remember Prophet Stevie Joshua. Continue. Feed someone this week. Give something you were holding on to. Give something you were holding on to too tightly. Stop for the person nobody else stop for. Love loudly. Give generously. Serve quietly. Because in the end, when everything else fades, when the building crumbles, when the platforms go silent, love and charity are the only things that echo into eternity. That is what he taught me. And that is what I choose to carry for the rest of my life. Let love live always. Comment below, how did Prophet Stevie Joshua impact your life? Share this if you are committed to carrying his legacy forward. Hit the subscribe button right now, because this is a community built on love and giving. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. I will be sharing you deep secret about Prophet Stevie Joshua and his ministry coming next. Hit the subscribe button right now. I remain your humble servant, Senior Evangelist Terence. God bless you. Thank you. See you on the next one. Partner right now with God by joining the Rainbow Covenant Ministry Partners. If you are ready to partner with God, go to www.rainbowcovenantministry.org/partnership. There are different partnership packages. You choose the one that is comfortable for you. You can also customize according to your budget. I prophesy into your life. As you partner right now with God, your life, your family, your business, your career, your ministry will never remain the same. Try God right now and see what happens. Partner right now and see what happens.
For one-time donation or given,
visit our giving portal www.rainbowcovenantministry.org/giving. Partnership Inquiries WhatsApp. For any questions or assistance, please reach out or contact us using the numbers above. Together, we are building the kingdom and transforming lives.
I prophesy into your life. As you give right now, let the Lord send destiny helpers. Let doors be open for you in Jesus' mighty name. Amen. God bless you.